Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul with Tisha Michelle, your host. That's me. What's up? How is everyone feeling? Actually, before we even get into expressing our gratitude, how are you guys feeling? Check in with yourself right now. Place one hand over your heart, another one on your belly. Take a couple of deep breaths and just say, how am I feeling in this present moment? How is it that I am feeling? Right. And remember, your feelings are your feelings, and you are allowed to feel however it is that you want to feel. And do not let anyone take that away from you. How are you feeling? For me, in case you were wondering, in this present moment, I'm feeling a little tired. A part of me is actually tired. Part of me is like, carry your ass to bed. What are you doing? Why are you still up? Do you really think that you're about to miss out on something? Get your shit together and go to bed. That's how I'm feeling right now. All right. But also in this present moment, what am I grateful for? I definitely want to say that I'm super grateful for music. Music has been so therapeutic for me throughout my life. And these past couple of days, I've really just been vibing out to music. And it really just depends on the mood that I'm in and how it is that I'm feeling. And sometimes I'm feeling nostalgic, and I'm just yo, I need to go back into the 90s and stuff, and I'll be listening to some R&B, and it just makes me feel a certain way. It takes me back to a different era in my life, and it makes me think about certain things, and some of those things make me sad, and sometimes I start crying, but I know that I'm not necessarily crying for that, or maybe I am, but however, I'm really just there to release, and it kind of triggers those tears that I needed to get out anyway. Or it'll take me back to a period, and I'll just find myself listening to the music, and I'm thinking about that time period, and I just smile, and it makes me happy, and it reminds me of what that happiness feels like, and that I've felt it before, and I also deserve it. Sometimes, depending on the mood, I might put on something and it take me back to my clubbing days. I'll be like, oh my God, I used to always be in the club. And I think about those times too, and that also makes me smile. Then, of course, you throw on a Mary J. Blige album, you yo, actually, I wrote this. This was all about my life because it is so relatable and stuff. So yeah, I would definitely say that in this present moment, that is what I'm grateful for. I'm really grateful for music because, again, it has really been therapeutic for me. So yeah. All right. So what are you guys grateful for? You ready to express to yourself how you are feeling in this present moment. So in this present moment, what are you grateful for? But let's do some more deep breathing, right? Go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to take a nice deep breath, and I just want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do another one. Another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Last one. Another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yes, let's go. All right. What are you guys grateful for? Are you guys grateful for music too? Have you been in that mood where you've just been letting the music just take you back? What are you grateful for? Scan your life, right? Because there's so much to be grateful for, even in the midst of a storm or something that we feel is dark, or some trying times. There's always something to be grateful for. And it's not to diminish what it is that you may be feeling or what you're going through at this time. It's really just more to just highlight the positive that's in your life. Again, it's not to diminish anything at all. However, if we can just put a little more energy into looking at what we do have in our life or what we're grateful for, it really could put that smile on your face. It could also shift the perspective and just shift like that energy, and maybe even give you like a solution to something that you think is a problem just by scanning and tapping into like all of the blessings and the positivity that's in your life. So express that gratitude, baby. Express it. All right. So on today's episode, we talk about human design, and I get to have such a dope conversation with Erin Claire on human design. And, throughout these, a little over 100 episodes, like throughout it, I'll talk about like different like healing modalities and different tools and different things that I've personally used. Cause I only talk to you and bring you things that I've actually experienced myself, and that's helped me. And then I know that could also like help guide you to just understand yourself a lot more. And I'm always talking about everything that you need is within you, which it is, and it's within me. And however, just as we go through life, there's different people who also are operating and walking in their purpose and operating in their gifts, and they're sharing these different things that can help us, help guide us, right? And this is one of human design. And I talk about this when I have the conversation with Erin, where I was saying like how it popped into my life, but I really just wasn't ready for it. And then when it circled back and came into my life, it was like perfect timing. Talk about divine timing. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So human design is a synthesis of ancient wisdom and modern science that sheds light on a person's energetic makeup, as well as specific tools they can use to live at their happiest, healthiest, highest potential. It doesn't change who they are. It teaches them who they are. It offers insight into what's possible and highlights the significance of understanding and living as the fullest expression of themselves. By putting this tool to work in her own life, Erin is showing the world a new way of work, a new path towards success, and a new perspective on living as you truly are. So let me give you a little more info on who you're going to be hearing today. So Erin Claire Jones uses human design to help thousands of individuals and companies step into their work and their lives as their truest selves and to their highest potential. Her work as a guide, coach, and speaker has attracted a growing community of over 100,000 people who turn to her teachings for practical tools, digestible tips, and deeper self-knowledge they can access to live with greater ease and authenticity every single day. With work featured in Forbes, let's go, baby, Mind, Body, Green, Well and Good, and Nylon, words shared on over 100 podcasts such as Almost 30, That's So Retrograde, Highest Self, and Chatty Broads, and conversations with crowds of hundreds around the world. Erin's insights are highly sought after because they make human design pragmatic, tangible, accessible, and immediately applicable to everyday life. And what I love about this is that even though my first impression a little back was that, oh my God, this is just going to be super, super like complicated. Like it's really not. It's almost like a breath of fresh air. And again, I talk about this in this conversation that we have where it was like, man, it's like it's giving me like this permission and just really helping me to understand like myself so much better. And it's not one of those things where you get your blueprint and you're like, I guess I could see that. I mean, let me just make it fit. It was like, no, slap me in the face like, whoa, okay, this makes so much sense. Wow, this is okay. I can see the chaos that I have created into my life and brought in some resentment because of moving too fast into something. But my design is basically for me to step back and, sleep on it and really like go with that gut feeling. And we talk a little bit more about that, but I could see so much of how it's like, man, if I could just adjust this, things would be so much better, right? So if you are new to human design, I would encourage you to hit pause right now and then go over to erinclairejones.com and take the quiz so you can find out what your human design is. Then come back, take me off of pause, tune into that conversation because she's going to touch on each one of them. And I'm a generator. So if you end up getting a gem generator, she goes into a little more detail, you know, 'cause she does have my chart up there as well too. So just to give you a little more insight. And then if it resonates with you and you want to go further than just the quiz and you want to get that 30-page blueprint like I done copped, she has graciously blessed us with a code. And if you put the code HAG, HAG for Heal, Line, and Glow, so put in HAG, you will get 10% off of your blueprint. So let's go. Abundance, abundance, abundance. All right, guys. I think I've probably been talking enough in this intro. So enjoy the conversation.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Seeing with Your Soul. All right, before we get into the conversation, there's only one question that I ask everybody on here, and that's, in this present moment, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for a little bit of long-winded, but I've been living in New York City for like 8 years, and I just bought a house and moved to the woods upstate in New York. So like, I'm just like still totally in awe and such gratitude of like living in the woods. Like I've been in cities my entire life. So I think that I just really feel so grateful to have found this home and to be surrounded by trees and have this be my new default.
I love that. Yeah, I'm actually from Brooklyn. So, and then I also lived in Harlem. So I already know like that whole hustle and bustle. Like, and now with being back and forth from Arizona, just like that sun and palm trees, I'm like, oh man, like that's me. Like, so I get it, even though it's like the trees in the woods, but it's still that part of nature. And just
no, it just feels better. Yeah.
I'm doing a retreat. My first retreat was in Arizona. So everybody got that West Coast vibe and that sun and stuff. And now in August, I'm going to do it in Shenandoah Valley. So that's going to be in the woods. So I was like, it's going to be a whole different vibe.
Oh my God, so fun. It's so like the woods are just like so mystical and magical. And that's exciting. That's going to be amazing.
I'm excited for it. I'm like, I don't know what's going to pop up for us out here.
Totally.
But again, thank you for being on here. So when it comes to like human design, I want to say, it might have popped up like, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so for me. Like I've seen people talk about the human design and just for our purposes, but I would see this chart thing right here. And I was like, oh yeah, it's overcomplicated. That's something that I'll just skip past. Yeah, I won't touch on that. Going down that rabbit hole, because 2018 was when I really started like that self-discovery. So many different things were popping up. And I was like, man, there's so many different things and ways that I can find out like about myself. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And I did see human design, but that kind of scared me away. And what I know now, I just wasn't ready. I really just wasn't ready for it at that time. And then we circled back and then I heard you on someone's podcast. And I was like, man, when they were talking about, you guys were talking about generators, I was like, that's me. And then I was like, but wait a minute. I know I'm a powerful manifester too, but it wasn't really. So I was just a little like confused. And I was like, okay, I got to dive into this like myself. And I did the quiz, but I'm the type of person, like I need more than like the free thing because I need the whole thing. You know, so I ordered it and then, then I seen like the message, like it was going to take a little bit. And I was like, oh man, I want it right now. Then you know what? I said, no, I don't. I put it into the motion and it's going to come exactly when it's really meant for me. And then you tagged me on Instagram and I hadn't gotten it because it went to like junk or something. So glad you did that. So as I'm like reading this, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was like, everybody needs to know about it, sharing your stuff. And then because I was sharing like the post, I would then see other people share it, but they would share it. It wasn't what I was sharing, which means they took the quiz. Oh yeah. Okay. I was like, she got me on the podcast. We got to talk about this.
Oh my God. So good. I love that story so much. And I also so appreciate what you shared about like when human design resonated, because it just like, we can't always predict when it's going to land. Like I have so many clients that are like, I discovered it 10 years ago. It didn't like feel at all useful then. And now it's like everything, So I think just like trusting ourselves in terms of knowing like when it's actually going to be really supportive for sure. I love that you shared. It all makes me so happy. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to just start just really basic because there's going to be people that are listening that have no clue, like what is human design?
Yeah. So human design is a system based on your exact time, date, and place of birth. And the idea is that it gives you your energetic blueprint. And what I mean by that is how you're wired to make decisions and work within teams and collaborate and parent and partner and all the things. And I find that human design rarely tells us anything we don't know. it often just gives us like a language and a framework to like understand what we've actually always known about ourselves and never really like allowed ourselves to fully step into. And it gives us tools to step into it. I think why I fell in love with human design is because of how grounded and actionable and accessible the information is. It's not just giving us all the self-knowledge, but it's giving us tools to actually really integrate it into our lives.
Yeah. And I feel like we all need that blueprint.
I totally agree.
We need a blueprint. And the blueprint is not the blueprint that we've been getting through society for all these years. Like, no, that just has me all types of confused and not even knowing who I really am. It's so easy for people to say, just be yourself, just be yourself. And I'm like, but who is that? How do we pull that out? There was one thing that I got to mine where it says like making decisions. I'm really meant to like just like my gut and like basically like sleep on it. And it's so funny because for years I'm so impulsive. I'll just be like, let's go. I'm doing this. Oh, I want to start this business, and I just start it and I just do it. And then I'm like, why did I do this?
Totally.
Or I'll say I'll do this. Yeah, I'll go to this event. Or yeah, I'll present at this event. And I'm like, wait a minute. The next day I'm like, why did I do that? And I'm like,
Totally.
Oh my gosh. And then I'm like feeling some type of way. I'm like, but I have to honor my commitment. And it becomes like really draining. So when I got to that part, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. That if it's not that strong, let's go, let's make it happen, sleep on it. Because I've caused so much nonsense and chaos in my life. But so that was really huge for me. So now I'm implementing that. Like, you know what? Let me sleep on that and see how I feel.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, some of us are meant to be very spontaneous and very impulsive. And some of us, and I'm similar to you in this way, just like need to take our time. And it can feel like annoying because you're like, I want to go. Like your experience. Like I so often would commit to things and then like feel differently the next day. And like I've just discovered taking my time and like aligning with that part of my design, like it just has made all the difference in terms of like getting into the right opportunities, the right relationships, all the things. So I think that piece of our design is probably the most useful in terms of helping us understand how we're each uniquely wired to make decisions, because we're all making decisions like every day in business, personal life, and beyond. And doing that in a way that really feels aligned, like can make all the difference.
Oh, big time, and save you some heartache.
Yeah, totally.
And being mad with this. So with human design, how many are there?
So there are 5 different types in human design, but types are just the first distinction. So there are so many other layers underneath that. And they're kind of just like bajillion configurations after that. Like it's so nuanced and it's so detailed, but like the highest level is the 5 different types. And then it kind of starts to branch on it into a lot more specific. So like, I know you're a generator, but like say like a friend or your son or someone else is a generator, like it doesn't mean that you guys are the same. Like you guys have a similar piece, but there's going to be so much more that distinguishes you.
Oh, so just because I'm a generator and someone else is a generator doesn't mean that we're all just the same in that.
Totally.
Oh.
And like in your blueprint, there are like 3 pages that are just about you being a generator, and the rest is like totally beyond you being a generator. So it's just like, it really is just the first piece and a very useful, essential building block number 1 piece, but it does get a lot more nuance from there.
I did not know that. My friend took the quiz, which is why everyone needs to just get the blueprint, do the whole full shebang. So my friend, I sent her the link. I was like, oh, this is who I'm going to have, on the podcast. And she sent me like a screenshot of hers, and she was a generator too. And I was like, oh, I'm a generator too. And then I'm like, I was a little bummed out, like love her dearly, but I'm like, can we just be a little bit different? I don't want us to just be like the same. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Until okay,
we're really different. Yeah, totally.
I want to have a little difference to bring some more like spunk and stuff like to there.
100%. Yeah. And it's a good reminder because I think it's the first piece, but there's just like so much more that really sheds light. You're going to express it very differently. So, but it is, the type basically speaks to kind of how we're designed to best use our energy. So the fact that you guys are both generators means that like you're both really here to be so lit up and like creative and bring things to life and be so excited by what you're doing. And you have this very kind of uplifting, warm, powerful energy, but how you guys actually express that and what you do with it might be totally different. Okay.
So the 5, so there's
generators, manifesting generators, projectors, reflectors, and manifestors.
Okay.
And with each type comes a strategy. So basically your type is how you're designed to best use your energy, and strategy is how you best kind of create the most aligned opportunities for yourself. So you want me to kind of briefly touch on each one?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll put a link in the show notes, but if you want to look up your design, you can go to erinclairejones.com/lookup, or just like look up a human design calculator. So generators and manifesting generators collectively are like the builders, the creators, the doers, the ones that really have the energy and the life force to kind of build, create, and make things happen. An ideal day might look like one where you kind of wake up in the morning with a full tank of energy. You use up your energy in ways that feel so satisfying, so exciting, and you kind of drop into bed like fulfilled and exhausted. The more you use your energy in ways that like personally satisfy and excite you, the more energy you have, the more you magnetize to you. The more you're kind of doing things just because you think you should or because somebody asked, the quicker your battery drains. So one of your biggest lessons is around boundaries and prioritizing your satisfaction and excitement, and seeing that not as a selfish thing, but like the most actually like selfless thing you can do, and actually having the most positive impact in the world. And the difference between the two is that manifesting generators, and some people group them together as one, but there are some nuances. Like manifesting generators are often quite multi-passionate. They like having their energy in a lot of things at once. They move really quickly, but might not want to like handle every single step along the way. Part of their gift is really in pivoting and course correcting and moving on. You know, I'd say generators are a bit more about like mastery. This kind of like steadfast commitment, like really going deep into a thing. And then like when it's time, moving on. But both types kind of share the quality of energy, life force, bringing ideas to life. And the last piece that I would share is that your strategy for both these types is magnetism. Neither are designed to chase after things and make things happen. You are meant to kind of let the world come to you and wait for something to spark your gut. And once you get sparked, you can go after and make that thing happen. You don't need to be invited in. It could be a human design showing up in your world. It could be a person across the room. It could be like a thing you see on Instagram, but like once you get sparked, go after it. But waiting for something in your world to kind of let you know that that is the right use of your energy.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, gosh, it just resonates so like, yeah, because I kind of see how that happens. And then I kind of see when going after something and I'm like, dude, talking to my spirit guys, like, dude, like, what's up? Why isn't this happening? This is so weird. Like I can just but it's because I'm going after it versus allowing that to come to me. Someone had just said that to me. My son's dad, we were talking and he was just like, I hear you. I mean, he's known me for a lot of years. So I'm always like, oh, let me do this, let me do this, let me do that. And he said something and it resonated so well. He's like, what's for you is for you. He was like, and it's just going to come to you. You don't have to chase it. But what he said after that, he said, you already know that. I was like, oh, but he's right. And because I do feel that disconnect when I'm going after something versus just allowing it to really just like, come. So, okay. So on my chart, it shows 37% manifesting generator is the same thing, and 33 generator. So how do you know? I know you said people group them together, but would my main be manifesting or how does
No, sorry, you'd be a generator, 100% generator. So that's the spread in the population. So like 37% are manifesting generators and about 33% are generators. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Okay. See, again, this not only do you need your blueprint, we need to schedule a session with you to talk about it. And that's what I need to do now. And I was looking at that. Yeah. Okay. So that makes,
And if we do a session, we should look at your son too, because it's so fun to kind of look at parenting and all the things. There's just like so much.
Actually, I need to probably have all of them because I have 4 kids and I think especially like right now, honestly, probably all of them, but like my oldest daughter is 23 and she's in LA now and she has a business. She does body cavitation and like eyelashes and she's really kind of feeling like, I know I should be doing something else, like, but I'm not really sure. So I know that this would help. So I'm going to get her to do, but she would definitely have to do the session with you too to really talk. Like about it and stuff. But I'm going to book that once we get off of here because I need this in my life and really start making the decisions based on how I was designed. Like, why not?
Totally. And it's exactly what you said at the beginning of just like, it gives us, we kind of have been often operating off of a blueprint that isn't actually ours, and I think we've seen other people be successful in certain ways and perhaps tried to model it. And I think what human design does is it really gives us the toolkit to know exactly how we're wired to succeed and how we're wired to thrive. And we'll often just find so much more flow. And I love what you shared about the just like, that you're magnetic and the work is actually just in trusting that. Like we often know these things so innately, but it doesn't stop us from like trying to be everything else that we're not.
Exactly.
So one quick question before we move on to the other types. Do you feel like as a generator, you have prioritized your desires? Like, do you feel like you really have prioritized your excitement? Or do you feel like there has been that tendency to kind of like people please and like try to do everything for everyone and not really prioritize like your own excitement?
100%. People please, do it for everyone, holding on to certain parts of my business because you're so good at this and you've helped me with this and you helped me with that. And then I'm like, well, who's going to help them? Like, I'm the only person in the world, right? This is my mind. I'm like, well, who's going to help? Well, I don't really want to do. And now I'm really looking to lean into, and I said, but I don't like this anymore. It doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't feel good. And I'm also really starting to see a lot about me is if I don't feel like it's meaningful, it's like anymore, like it's time for me to like go. But there has been that struggle. And then when I said it came, when I finally got the blueprint and you had tagged me on there, I was like driving. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pulling over. I got to look at this. And I was like, no, I'm not. Actually, I'm just going to print it off. And I'm going to wait until the day is over and I'm going to get on the couch and really dive in. So it hit me at the right time because I was already struggling. I was like, I really want to stop doing this portion in my business and doing like the one-on-one, not because I know that I'm great at it, but it doesn't feel as meaningful. And I feel like there's something else. So when I was reading that, I was like, oh God, I was just like, it was almost like when you gave me the blueprint, you gave me like that permission to just be like, it's okay to let that go because that's a part of your design where it's like, okay, 100%. This is not bringing. So yeah, I definitely resonate. I'm holding on to things and just
yeah, it's so tempting to hold on to the things, and I think human design more than anything else gives us permission where it's just like, you know what, like for you, it is like, oh, I'm actually no longer lit up by this. And it's not like I should stick with it just because like I should. It's like, it's actually probably no longer benefiting those clients even as much as I could because like I'm no longer excited. Like I know that if I free up that energy, I'll create so much more space for me to do a thing that has so much more impact and feels so much better to me, and so it is kind of just like the rewiring of like, this is not selfish. This is like actually how I can have the most impact in the world.
I like that.
And I think that we often don't give ourselves that permission. So, and especially as a business owner, as a generator like you, it is kind of really staying attuned to the aspects of your business that are really exhausting you, depleting you, draining you, and like giving yourself permission when possible to kind of delegate and hand those things off. So should I talk about the other three types? Okay. So projectors are really here to kind of be the leaders, the guides, the advisors, the teachers, not here to do all the doing. So much of being a projector, for me, at least the lesson has been like not trying to keep up with the rest of the world and really like learning how to like honor the ebbs and flows of my energy and know that my gift is not in how much I can do and how hard I can work. And I've always been kind of partnered and supported by people because I just like can't do it alone. And I have stopped trying to. Projectors tend to be quite wise about people, really good at kind of asking the right questions. This can make them really amazing in a position of a manager, CEO, therapist, coach, where their orientation is really kind of towards the other and how they can support and ask the right questions. Projectors and generators can actually be such a great kind of partnership in business. And, and as a projector, I would say that like really like trying on this idea that your gift is so much in your perspective and not how much you can do and your wisdom around people. And so really kind of taking that space and a rest when you need. And the strategy for projectors is waiting to be recognized and invited in. And it's because you bring such a kind of unique perspective and way of seeing things to the table. It's so important to feel like you are working with and intimate with and collaborating with people that just like invite you in and like are inviting you in to share your magic, so really just checking on where you feel the most recognized and invited in to share who you are. The last piece that I'll share is I think when I first discovered this, I was like, how in the world do I build a business waiting for an invitation? This sounds super passive. And I think for like the projectors out there, my strategy has been so much around like making myself visible. Like I just share often and like in a really just honest, inspired, authentic way and like let the right people kind of resonate and come to me. So like sharing on podcasts and on Instagram and on newsletters have been so much more effective for me than ever kind of like pitching or reaching out. So just thinking about like, how can I let people know that I exist and then trust that by doing that, the right people kind of will resonate and come to me. Make sense?
I like that. Yeah. In my mind, I was scanning. I was like, I wonder if this person's a projector. I wonder if this person, like people that like I know.
Totally. It's so fun to, again, not only understand ourselves, like that's obviously so useful in terms of finding more alignment in our lives, but like understanding our teams, our partners, our parents, our kids, our friends, like it just helps us know how best to kind of support each other, and I think by becoming aware of how different we are, it actually brings us closer together and brings like so much more compassion and understanding because like one of your kids, I don't know their designs, but they also might be so different than you. So if you're like expecting to like do as much or keep up, it could be disappointing. It's just like understanding the differences so that we're not making each other wrong for being different.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so curious to see what my kids are.
Oh my God, I am
now,
too.
for sure.
It's so, the family stuff is so powerful. And even I'll say like, retrospectively, even looking at like my parents and my sister, it was so just like validating. I was like, oh my gosh, I like made them wrong for this their entire life, but they were doing just great, like, so it just like, it really does bring so much compassion and so many tools. Then we've got manifestors. Manifestors are really here to be the ones that kind of initiate and get things started. Not always here to like do all the doing themselves, but often to kind of get something off the ground and get something rolling. Often manifestors thrive with a real sense of like freedom and autonomy and control. They're not really here to be told what to do or managed or guided in any way, here to do things on their own terms and in their own way. They can often thrive in a more entrepreneurial setting, or if they're working for a company and just given like a domain to be in charge of, like if they're just given kind of ultimate freedom. And they might find that their energy operates best in creative bursts where they can like make a lot happen very quickly, whether it's over a day or over 3, and they need to like rest and chill. So just like honoring those ebbs and flows. And the strategy for manifestors is about initiating. They're not really here to wait for anything to come to them. They're here to really initiate. And also around kind of informing, which is just like keeping the people around them in the loop of what they're choosing and when, which like is all about kind of like letting them feel a bit more ease. And I just want to even call out kind of a point you mentioned earlier about I'm a generator, I can manifest, any type can manifest. You know what I mean? Manifestor is just like the name here, but like it doesn't speak to them exclusively being able to manifest. It's just that they're here to kind of like initiate. Okay. And then the last type is a reflector, and reflectors are the most rare, about 1% of the population. And these people are kind of our collective mirrors, really sensitive to their physical space and always kind of mirroring back and magnifying the environment they're in. So you get a good sense of a team, community, family, just by how that person's showing up. And you're also, I would imagine some of this would resonate with you because as you probably saw in your blueprint, you also are quite fluid in the way that you express. And this is just kind of like a real hallmark to reflectors.
Yeah.
But like basically, they're so sensitive to their space. So being really ruthless curators of the spaces and people they're around. And also they're very innately fluid, meaning that they might have times where they feel like a manifestor, generator, projector, manifesting generator. So like their job is not to figure themselves out or express themselves in just one way, but kind of really to flow with their fluidity and honor whatever feels authentic and kind of expressive to them in that moment.
I wonder if my youngest daughter, but this is crazy. What happens if we don't know the exact time?
A range? What do you remember with her?
So she was definitely, and I have it written because we actually have it on this picture too. She was in the mornings, but I'm just wondering if she's a reflector.
Yeah. And you'll see, I mean, there's so many nuances, but it really is so cool to look. And if you don't know the exact time, like, and a range, like morning, you can also plug in a few different times and see how much it shifts. And like sometimes a lot shifts and sometimes not so much, often the most important stuff will like remain consistent for quite a bit. I worked with people that are adopted and don't actually know it all the time. And so, in those cases, we've kind of really just explored how things have shifted throughout the day and really just like investigated the possibilities together. In a case like that, where you have a range, it's probably going to remain quite consistent.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get it because she was asking me that the other day. She was like, how do you not know what time? I was like, bruh, how long ago was that?
It also feels like, I mean, I don't have kids yet, but it feels like it's probably not the first thing you're thinking about when you're giving birth. I'm like, so what time is it? I mean, maybe now with human design.
Exactly. I was like, I'll find it because I know we had got these pictures taken too. And I know it had some of that on there, but I was like, I'll just go get the records from the hospital. Like it's not that it's easy to do. That way we can be a little more, accurate. So I'll probably do that this week, or at least put the request in there since I'm here, because she was born here in Virginia. So I can go and do that. Yeah. Because I'm really curious, because even just you kind of explain, I'm like, it's interesting to see if she's a reflector.
Totally. Yeah. And it just, again, it gives us often such a framework to really just like know how to support people. And I think often we just like, we can make ourselves wrong for being different than the people around us, or like not moving as fast or processing or whatever form that takes. And human design just really gives us a language for like, this is what I need. This is how I operate at my best. And how can I just like honor that and really walk my own unique path?
Yeah. And I think like the world, the society, family, friends, people, they kind of like shame us. So what about like the person who I'm thinking maybe is a manifestor, the one who has all these ideas and this is what this is, but doesn't follow through with it, but always has the ideas. Would they be under a manifestor, or what would they?
That actually could be true for any type. So like what I would say is that there are potential distractions in our design and areas where we can get really taken off track. And this is going to be like in the distraction section of your blueprint, we call these our open centers. So like, and this is actually true in your design. So I'm curious whether you resonate with this, but like one of the potentials is that, for example, you might have like a lot of ideas and be very easily inspired, and like a lot might come to you. And the shadow for you is getting really scattered and trying to pursue every single idea that comes. And the wisdom for you is like, not every idea that comes is worth pursuing. My gut is always going to let me know what's worth my energy. When a thing shows up in my world, then I'll know what's worth my energy. And like, I know that I've got to take my time. And so for you, it's just like kind of going through that process of like, things will come and then I'll take my time. And once it's a yes, I can go and make that thing happen. But like, I'm not here to like make it all happen at once. So I think that there's a lot of different aspects of our design that can kind of point to that, of just like wanting to make all the ideas happen right now. But understanding those kind of distraction areas around ourselves is really useful, because then you can be aware of the fact that like, I might feel that pressure, but I'm not meant to act on that pressure. And even do you resonate with that piece?
100%. I have so many ideas. There's so many things I want to do, but I'm just like, okay. And in my mind, I know how long I'm going to be on this earth. If for some reason I act as if I know, so I'm like, I have to do everything right now. Like I have to. And then what ends up happening is nothing happens.
Totally. Because then it's like paralyzing. Yeah. I'd also say another piece for you, like another big area of learning, is that you've got what we call an open identity center in human design. And again, this would be in the distraction section, but it basically means that you've got a very fluid sense of self. And you might find that you express yourself differently at different times in your life, around different people, in different clients, all that. But the biggest shadow for you is trying to like figure out who you are and be just one thing. It's like, I've got to figure out my purpose and like what I'm here to do. And I've got to find like perfect place to live and all this stuff. And so much of your lesson is like, there's nothing to figure out. I am like an ever evolving fluid being. And my job is to tune into what feels like the most authentic expression of myself right now. And when and if that shifts, I want to create space for that too. And so I always say, for a design like yours with that kind of aspect, the question to ask yourself is not who am I, but like, what feels like me today? You know, and how can I just like lean fully into that? And when and if it shifts, I'm going to roll with that too.
I'm writing this down. What feels like me today? It's so funny because I've done a lot, like even just like with like my soul's blueprint and just like astrology. It's so in alignment because like what you just said, like that's how I feel, where it's like, okay, so I'm already reminding people who they am, and I'm not telling you who you are. I'm just helping to guide and bring that out for you. And then like for me, I'm like, but who am I? And then even when it comes to like doing things and like fulfilling my purpose and like my truth and stuff, I will get these messages, whether it's from, you know, just certain people that I align with, whether it's astrology or whatever it is, or a reading or something. And this always comes up and spirit gives it to me directly. And it's like, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm like, no. We need to break this down. This is ridiculous now. But it's exactly what you just said. And as much as I try to run from that, it's like, no, that's not, stop. Basically, you're trying to put yourself into this box, which 100%. I feel is the battle from just life itself, where it's like, well, no, like, this is how I feel. Tell me what to do or what business, and guess what? I'm gonna make it happen. I'm so fearless in that. I'm like, but when you're sitting there saying like, there's this huge blank canvas and you can express yourself however you want, you can show up however you want, and you can pivot whenever you want. I'm like, don't give me this open field. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what do I do?
Yeah, well, it also goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, even though you're so fluid and you can express yourself in so many different ways, like you're not designed to like come up with an idea out of nowhere. Like you're here to kind of be in your environment, be in spaces that feel good, see what shows up and respond to it. So it also takes a little bit of pressure off of like, I will magnetize the right things for me. And my job is to just keep my awareness open. And then when it comes, I'll go after it. So it's not about like sitting and being like, what is the thing, you know? And also like, hopefully it's a little bit more freeing to just be like, let me just tap into what feels really good right now. And just like trust that that's going to take me in the perfect direction. And you also have an aspect, because you're so fluid in the way that you express yourself, you're also so gifted at guiding other people and helping them connect to their identity and their sense of purpose. You know, it's kind of like one of your biggest gifts, but it is the reminder of like, but I might not always know exactly who I am. It's more just like, I'm going to know what feels authentic right now.
Yeah. And like 100%, I'm like, I got that on lock. I will guide you, and spirit gives me the messages and it comes clear as day through me to you. Like that right there, I got that on lock.
100%.
I stand very firm in that, and I feel really good about that. Well, part of like my business, like, so I started off with just doing like readings for people, right? So I just do like the reading. And then I added on where I now actually work with people, where they'll have a certain amount of sessions and we really deep dive. Well, that's the part that I no longer have joy in at all. Sorry, guys, is listening. I just don't. And after this year, I'm done. You know, I have some obligations and people that are still, you know, in these that I'll be finishing like through, but it doesn't bring me that joy. But when I do a reading, I'm fine. And especially new people. So I'm learning a lot more, especially when it's someone I've never done a session with, never done like a reading. I'm like, oh man, that lights me up. Like, like I'm perfectly fine doing like the readings, but it's when I get into the sessions with people, even though so many people have gotten so much help and guidance, and I've seen the changes, and all of that is fine, but it just doesn't bring me the joy anymore. So then there's that part that feels guilty, right? So again, when human design, when the blueprint landed that day, I was like, oh, it felt like it was so much weight off of me, because it was that permission, because this is my design. So, and it's okay to go to follow that blueprint, because that is your blueprint versus
100%.
Coming from there.
Yeah. And like following your joy is a real thing, it's just, again, and it's not seeing that as like a selfish thing at all. And also you got an aspect of your design where it's like really good to be like stimulated by like lots of different groups of people and spaces and different environments. And so I can't imagine like if it's really consistent, it could be like a little bit challenging for you. Yeah. Like I think that for you, you kind of need that freedom and flexibility and fluidity to kind of move between new people, new environments, and kind of like allow yourself to be stimulated in new ways.
That so resonates with me, because I was just recently saying this. I was like, I feel like this circle that I'm in, and when I say the circle, not my close friends, but like just even clients and stuff, again, and this is for my listeners, this is no shade to you guys. I'm just speaking my truth. This circle is connecting a little too much, and it's making me feel like I'm suffocating, and it's time for me to meet like some new people. It doesn't have anything to do with them, but now you're saying, I can see
you need freedom.
That's how I start to feel like I'm suffocated, and it's like the same. And then I'm starting to see how the circles are like connecting with other people. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go and be around and draw on some new people and stuff. So
totally.
That's interesting though.
But it's also a good reminder, because the lesson of that is when you feel, and this is a part of our design called definition, which is how we best process information. You're called a triple split definition, just in case people are wondering where it comes from. But like, it basically, when you start to feel trapped or confined, the lesson for you is that it's not like that those people are necessarily wrong. Yeah. It's just that you've got to go move your energy in new, different, exciting ways. It feels like exactly what you're doing. And your community is such an important piece of your design. So I think kind of being around people that really nourish you and uplift you and that feel like that are stimulating in new ways is probably going to feel really good.
I'm feeling like I'm suffering. I'm like, but nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened with the people or anything. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. It's just my energy just needs to go, and that's okay.
Yeah. 100%.
And knowing that that's okay. See, this is good, because you could be feeling like you're crazy at times, or like you're wrong for something, or like, well, maybe like I should. And if I'm really truly helping someone in this, why would you stop doing that in that sense, versus saying like, no, I've made the impact, I've done this, and now it's time to, move on to whatever that is, and allowing that to come.
Yeah. I mean, it really just like, I think that we can get really tripped up, and we can make ourselves wrong for being who we are. We can make each other wrong for being different than who we are. And again, like, it just, I think it gives us a lot of permission and a lot of language. Like, no, this is exactly how I operate. This is just giving me a framework to really understand it. And like, it's actually going to like really uplift everyone when I really honor that. I think that it's so interesting. I work with so many partnerships and families, whether it's romantic or business. And it's just so revealing, because it's just like, we stop taking these things personally when we're just like, oh, you just operate differently, and like, it's not that like, you just need a different kind of thing than I do. So I think that it really, again, I think it just gives us so much empathy and compassion for ourselves and for each other to just kind of appreciate the blueprint for each of us will be quite different.
Yeah. And I like that too, to just be like, oh, you're just designed different, and that's okay. Or I'll ask somebody, what's your human design? I need to know first. Let me evaluate these things. Send me your quiz results.
It's so real. It's just like, and again, like I think that I was a little bit nervous when I first started sharing human design, that I didn't want people to feel like it put them in a box or it felt restrictive in any way. But like, I just haven't had that experience. Like, people are just like, even the most skeptical people are just like, you are giving me a language for everything I have always known. And like, just, can you like send this to my like partners and my kids and my colleagues? Like, just tell them, like, it is a thing where I think it often just like lets people know, like, it just gives them a lot of liberation to kind of be themselves.
Yeah. And I don't feel like it puts into a box like at all. It just makes things make sense. So if I can adjust this and I actually start following this blueprint, I mean, shoot, if we followed the blueprint that was given all these years, we might as well try something different.
Totally. It's a good reminder that like, we don't have to operate according to our design. Like, you can try to do a different thing, but it's just like, we often find so much more flow and so much more success when we really honor it. So, and I think people often have had enough of life experience, like, I have tried a lot of my life to be all the other things, and I realize they don't work.
Yeah.
So I think it's a way of operating that often will bring us a lot more success and satisfaction and all the things, but it will also just feel so much better.
Yeah. Well, there was something that had came up, this group that I'm in, and they were doing, I was in the paid portion of it recently and I was paying for it. Again, the whole impulsive thing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm jumping into this. And I'm like, it's great. But then I wasn't really doing anything with it. And I have
Yeah.
a tendency to do that. So I'm just paying money and I'm not even doing anything. So I went ahead and I got out of it. And I was like, it's just not the best time for me. I mean, why am I just wasting money? If I'm not putting it into there. Well, they ended up doing like this workshop on something, but then they opened it back up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should totally get back into it now. And then human design popped in my head and I said, let me sleep on this. And I can tell you, I did not join. I did not go back in because I was like, no, that was just going to be another impulsive thing, feeling like let me sleep on this. And I think it was open for like 7 days. And I was like, well, I have a couple of days. And I was like, Mom, I'm actually good. And I was like, wow, this is really good. This is really good to just follow that and not, I call it being just impulsive. Like, oh, let me just get into it and hurry up and do this. And I hadn't really like let it sink in.
Totally.
So with that, I was like, oh, I like this.
I know. And again, it's a reminder, like some people are meant to be super impulsive, but like you and I are really not. And I think that it can be really clouded by the emotions. Like we can be in the emotional high and we're like, yes, this is amazing. And then just like the next day be like, no, I don't want to do that at all. Like, so again, just like giving ourselves that space is so key. And I always say for these people, like for you and I, it's like not only about like loving a decision in the moment, but like loving it over time. And so it's just like making sure the decisions you enter into, the relationships, the commitments are the ones that you just like the excitement persists. It's not like a momentary thing that dissipates a moment later.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, when I scan my life and really think about it and stuff, I haven't really done much that actually just excited me the whole time. Most of it was the short-lived things. And I'm like, this is stupid. Why did I do this? So when I really think about it, it's like, I don't really have too many things that I'm like, I'm super excited. I'm so glad that I did this or I did it. Even if it produced great like results and stuff, it's like, no, I didn't. So which shows that I really haven't been operating to my fullest.
Totally.
And that I'm like, I don't like that anymore. So I don't think I ever really liked it. But I look at it too when, people be like, oh my God, life is so short. And it can be. And I go back to, my best friend, which is what really the death of her in 2017, which really sparked this journey like for me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to just, be doing things that don't bring me joy and makes me feel a certain way, or I start to build like resentment, or I'm just like, oh, it's such a drag. And I don't like that. No, I don't like that like anymore. I don't want that for my children either. So I'm like encouraging them, not anything particular, but like what makes you happy? What makes you feel, feel good? What's bringing you joy? What's bringing you peace? And really, really just like encouraging that with them. But now like leading by example.
Yeah, which is like the most important thing you can do. And one thing I'll say about your design specifically, and there's a aspect of our design called the profile, and there are certain numbers, year 4, 6, but like for anyone who has a 6 in the profile, especially like you are actually meant to hit your prime when you turn 50. And it like doesn't mean that there's anything to wait for, but it's more around the fact that you're kind of on this journey right now of like really like embodying authenticity and wisdom in a deeper and deeper way. And like when you're a little bit later in life, you just become like such a living example of authenticity, So it also like makes sense to me that you're kind of in a place right now where it's more just like, I am really clear on all the things that haven't worked. And like, I'm also so committed to just like being my most authentic, fullest, boldest self. And I just like know that like, that's going to have the ripple effect that I meant to. And so like, you're kind of in this beautiful phase of like, I in some ways preparing for that. But I think that like, I have that in my design too. And I've always like just loved that idea that like, it's just meant to keep getting better and better and better. And so much of the impact you have is just being like a living example of authenticity and being yourself.
I love that. So I'm 41. So it makes sense too, because my youngest son is 10. He'll be 11 in October. And what I've been saying is I said, once he turns 18, I'm leaving the States and I'm going to be in somebody's island and just like chilling, getting the fresh fruit, the fresh juice by the water and just being so zen. And I'll probably host continue with the retreats and probably host a retreat there once a year. So that way, that's how I live. That's my money. I'll still be doing my podcast, make some books or something. And then whenever I want some drama or chaos in my life, I'll come to the States real quick.
100%.
I'll hop, a couple of flights and then I'll come back. So it makes sense because that's the time. because that's about to be 11. So it's so funny that you say that that's in there. So I'm so in alignment with
Totally.
my
Totally.
Yeah. I'm like, once he's in, I'm like, he can go with me. You know,
Right.
it's just at that point I won't have to worry as far as like with his dad. So that way he can make the choice of what he wants to do in that sense. But yeah, okay, so 50 is gonna be on and popping.
So you're doing it. You're right on path. And again, like I love the writing books, the retreats, the podcast, because again, it also feels like it allows you to kind of be in the space of just like inspiring people and being really authentic and express yourself and letting that really positively uplift other people. And those are all such beautiful ways to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'd say the one consistent thing that I say like I absolutely love is my podcast. You know, I love my podcast. I just hit, I think I just said 103, my 103rd like episode. And you know, when I talk about like not being like consistent, I'm like, man, I've been so consistent with my podcast. I'm so proud of myself because I'll just start things and just be like, I'm over it, you know, in that sense. You know, then that human part gets in. I'm like, how are you going to make a living? And you're going to have to do this and you're going to have to do that. And this is where I know personally I have to lean into like trust.
Totally.
Those things will like work out and show up in a way that I don't have to just do things that that's draining and that's not exciting.
100%.
But like my podcast, I love my podcast.
So cool. And also you've like, and again, it's a good example of like entering into a thing and just like sustaining it, like having the energy for it because it was the right thing to enter into in the first place. Whereas like if you enter into a thing that is more impulsive, that you like isn't right, then it also the energy will probably like dwindle, you know, very early on where it's like, I can't actually do this. I don't actually want to do this. But like we've done 103 episodes, like obviously the energy has sustained. It is the right application. And it doesn't mean that it will be perhaps the right application of your energy forever. But I think it's a good example of like entering into a thing that really has just felt right. And you might not know until years later, all the opportunities that it was meant to generate for you, but pretty cool.
I like that when you're saying, so if you're getting into something and then it's really not the best thing for you, like that energy feels different. It's not.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, and that has happened. I'm like, I'm just so tired. I just don't even like do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. Like, because I'm not meant to do this. Like
100%. Totally.
Yeah, I'm not meant to really do that. So that's just so mind blowing and just being able to just open like up and to even be able to have like this type of blueprint to me is just such a game changer. Like, especially if like you're in this space where you feel like confused or this is just how I am. This is just what this is. Like, you don't have to accept that. Like, you don't have to accept that. And if you really don't know where to like really start at, you know, I would say start. Even back then, I was like, whoa, because I seen that and I didn't get any more information on it. But like now I'm like, no, get your human design. Like it'll start to make sense of, you know, the way that you are. So you can give yourself grace. You don't have to like judge yourself based off of, oh, because I'm switching things up and I'm not consistent with anything. And it's because those things weren't probably for your highest good, but society says that, oh, you're not stable. Totally. You know, you should stick to that. You should, but you gotta get the blueprint serious. It was for real. I'm just like, you know, just getting and just reading like those things. That's cool and that's great. But if you really want like that, the change is to get the blueprint. And now, like I said, I'm gonna book the session with you. But however, like I have this whole thing right here. I'm like, I now want to really sit with this. But what I'm gonna do is sit with it after we talk. Because I am in this transitional phase right now. I know things are closing. I know there's a big leap that's coming for me. And I kind of want to do it different now. I don't want to just be going rogue, you know, on my own. I really want to make these decisions and these choices based off of like my design because I've never done it before. So I want to do something different and be very like intentional. So that way this go around, I get it. I don't necessarily like get it right first, but it feels better versus like, oh, let me just do this over again. Like, stop acting like I know everything. And the thing is we do because everything we need is within us, but we do need that guide to help bring that out. But sometimes I'll just be acting like I know everything, but coming from an ego place versus coming from my true self.
And it reminds us how to connect with that. You know, and again, it's like exactly like you said, it's just like it's doing a thing in a way that also just feels better and feels sustainable and feels like the most aligned way to kind of create, build, and make things happen.
Yeah, for sure. You said something too on the beginning. You said like we're manifesting generators and generators like we'll just wake up in the morning with like this burst of energy. Yeah. And when we lay down, we just feel like we're tired, but it's because we feel so good. I don't remember the last time I felt like that. Like I really don't. And that is so bothersome because now it's like, I'm just so tired.
But not like satisfied, fulfilled,
not
tired.
satisfied, not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And it's like, but to the outside, people would think that because I've helped them so much and like what like I do. And that's great. And I'm glad that they're getting that. But now I want to get that like as well. Too.
Totally. Yeah. And that just level of like personal satisfaction, which for you is like such an indicator of being on track as a generator. Like I'm dropping into bed and I just feel satisfied, fulfilled. I like expended my energy in ways that it felt good. And again, it doesn't mean that we're going to like live our design 100% from the get-go, but like knowing these things allows us to kind of begin to prioritize and shift and like really kind of ease into it, you know, and you have 4 kids, you've got a lot of responsibilities, you've got a lot going on, you know, so it is finding that balance. But yes, the ideal for you is like dropping into bed, like satisfied, fulfilled, exhausted.
Yeah. And I just told a fib. I do remember when I felt like that. It was actually after my retreat. I had the retreat in May and it was
beautiful.
My first one. So I did feel, but before that, yeah, no clue when, but now that I think about it, it was with my retreat and I was like, oh my gosh, this is how I'm going to do my intimate work now. It's going to be through the retreat.
Good. Yes.
And not like the other way. So I want to call more of that into my life, not necessarily more retreats, just more of like that feeling. And when I go to sleep, I'm just like, I feel so fulfilled and so satisfied.
Yes.
It's great, but I'm tired and I'm just going to go to sleep. And versus like, oh gosh,
totally.
I feel like this. And then tomorrow, what's on my agenda? Like we're not meant to feel like that because that's awful.
No. And that satisfaction and exhaustion for you is the thing that kind of allows you to actually recharge, like allows you to kind of wake up in the morning, like energized and excited. And I love that you have an example of when you felt that way, because it's just good to have that model of like, I know what it feels like. And it is more about kind of like integrating than it is a more like regular feeling, but I kind of know what that level of satisfaction feels like. And I like deserve that.
Yeah. We deserve to feel good. We deserve to feel fulfilled and satisfied. Like we all deserve that. Contrary 100%. To what the masses say.
Yes. All the
this is so good. I didn't even realize like the time. Like I could just stay on here and just keep vibing with you, but I'm so respectful of everyone's time, and I definitely like appreciate like you coming on here. So how can really like support you? I know they're gonna get a little discount code. I'm gonna get in the show notes, and I'm gonna be sending it individually, and they already know when I try something and I do it like, and I'm putting a stamp, I'm like, you gotta do this.
Yes.
But yeah, so how can we continue to like support you?
Yeah, so I'm Erin Claire Jones everywhere. My website is erinclairejones.com. My Instagram is Erin Claire Jones. I share a lot there. The blueprint is a beautiful place to get started. So basically, I know we've been referencing it, but it is a 30+ page written guide to your unique design. So really kind of just giving you the information you need to know about you, and really hopefully in the most accessible, practical, and empowering way. And so the discount code is HAG. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes. So I've already set that up. So you're welcome to get that. And then I also offer private sessions, individual sessions, partnership sessions, team sessions. And the links for that are on my website. And I also do workshops every month, and we'll be offering a training soon. But I would definitely recommend Session or Blueprint to get started if you're curious to work with me.
Oh, for sure. Wait, so you do for groups, for teams?
I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One of my clients, I was telling her, you know, it really kind of is like, sometimes people are in a role that's not best for them. Doesn't mean that they're not good for the company. They're just not in the role. One thing I had to ask her, I said, have you ever done like a strengths test or a skills test with like, and she hadn't. So I'm definitely going to let her know like about that. I love that as well, because I think that'd be great. That's awesome.
It's so powerful in the team environment, and it's exactly what you said. It's just like knowing how best to leverage and take advantage of people, and you can literally like layer the charts on top of each other and just kind of like get so much insight into how to best work together. So I love that.
I love.
Perfect.
Thank you once again.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer, or visit www.healingalignedglow.com.